Dayton, Ohio, been in Speedrome since 19 whatever, and I'm a three-time champion and world figure eight,
No.
500 lap midget champion.
Yeah.
However you want to do it.
Okay.
Okay, and 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Go.
How you doing? My name's McClellan from Dayton, Ohio. Started racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedrome in 1979 and won 3 championships there. I believe it was 81, 86, and 87. Won the inaugural 500 lap midget race there, and just brought us back to our roots. You know, I started out as a kid racing quarter midgets, so it was a small track, and then when they brought in the television, it was a good opportunity for us to get some exposure and help advance our careers.
Mm-hmm. At the time when you started, I mean, you were in the USAC midget division that we were running out there, part of the regular, a weekly program actually. But a lot of people were scared to run that one because it was almost like an outlaw the first couple of year or two. What was Mike McClellan's head at when he decided to become a regular? What were you thinking? Was it just the TV exposure, or was there something else about the place that you wanted to be there every Thursday night when you got your first couple championships?
Well, I started out in 74 and 75 running USAC sprint cars. Mm-hmm. So, but my father-in-law owned midgets, and he lived in Kokomo, Indiana. So on Wednesday nights, it was a good diversion in the middle of the week to come down to Speedrome. And again, it was back to our roots running the short tracks, and it was just a lot of fun. And then when the TV came, it really did make a big difference because we had some success before that. And then when they brought the television, it made it even better for us.
Mm-hmm. Got really crowded there. I mean, the first couple of times before the TV, you know, we were literally, I think, maybe a dozen cars, 15 cars. Towards the end with the TV, when ESPN was going strong, you were running up against 35 cars a night. What was it like just to make a feature on those situations? How was the format then?
Well, it was real difficult to make it because of the points. You had to start in the back of all your qualifying heats and stuff. And if you didn't make it up to the front, then you had to run the B feature, and again, you had to start in the back. And there were some of the B features that would have over 20 cars, and you had to be in the front, you know, 5 or 6 to get transferred to the A. So it was tough, and Rich Vogler and I had a lot of battles, you know, over the years, and we got to start in the back of a lot of those B features. So.
Mm-hmm. Who's your favorite guy to run against back in those days?
Oh, back in those days, I think probably, you know, the Hines brothers were running really well then, and Mel Kenyon. Sleepy Trip, we'd race quarter midgets as kids together, and Steve Lachaw. But probably my biggest nemesis was Rich, and we had a lot of battles. And we were lucky enough to win the championship in 86 and 87, and it came down to the last race, it seemed like both years, and the battle was with Rich. So it was pretty neat to come out because he was really, you know, winning a lot of races in the sprint divisions and even the Silver Crown. So it was a chance to test your skills against one of the best. So we enjoyed that.
And do you have a favorite type of car that you always, was there always one reliable one? Did you have a name for it?
Well, my favorite car would have been in 1980, 81, running the Badger from up in Illinois. And I mean, we dominated a lot of races on pavement, and other guys had run that car, but that particular year we were fortunate enough to run it 23 times and won 19 races with it on tracks, you know, from the Speedrome all the way up to IRP and bigger tracks. So it was just a fun car to run.
What was it about Mac McClellan that seemed to be fitting so well to be a Speedrome midget racer?
Well, I think, again, it goes back to the days when we were racing quarter midgets, a short track, and just fit our style. So, but it was just a great place to come and you know, there were so many fans that came out, and I still celebrate my birthday every year with Carol Harold's grandson, you know, and at the time I think he was 1 or 2 years old, and we'd have birthday cakes there. Carol would bring them out, so we'd celebrate there at the track.
So it was almost like it was as much a family get-together as it was a racing get-together for you.
It always was, you know, with the fans. It was a great place to race, and the purses were good, and again, we got to see people, and the fans were great.
In another 50 years, we'll be lucky the Speedrome's still there. What would you like people, as they come around and sit there and look back and wonder what the Speedrome was about, what do you think they need to know about the place that made it special for Mac McClellan?
Well, it's a special place. You know, it has a lot of history there. A lot of drivers got their starts at the Speedrome and went on to bigger and better things. You know, when you look at a lot of the guys that are in NASCAR now, there are several, like Tony Stewart and Kenny Irwin when he was running, you know, that made their career starts, you know, at the Indianapolis Speedrome. So I guess that would always be a place in my heart, is that we got to run against some of the best, and that history will always be there.
Okay. Now, what's McClellan doing these days? I've noticed you're not getting around quite as spry as you used to be.
Well, I still have some of the old racing arthritis, is what they call it, I guess. But I just turned 60 this year, and so I'm watching my kids and grandkids grow, and that's fun for me. And we have businesses over in Dayton, our Goodyear tire business, so still related to cars and enjoying that. So I'm starting to wind down a little bit and getting ready towards retirement. So,
where do you think racing's going to be here in another 5-10 years now?
It's hard to say where it's going to go. It all depends on the economy and what the country's doing. But right now it's good and strong, and I'd like to see it continue that way. NASCAR, Indy cars are starting to pick back up, so it's a great sport. I think it'll always be good. I never was much for the stick and ball and stuff. I played baseball in college and that, but racing is the best. You get that thrill with the speed. So,
what was looking back on all the years you had out there, what was the toughest night you had at the Speedrome, would you say? The roughest race, the most work in the pits, the most work after, whatever it was. Maybe it just getting the hauler to the track that night.
For me, I think the hardest night was the championship in '86, the very last night. And going there, we knew we needed a lot of help to be able to win the championship. And we went there, and I had to win the race. And so we went through our qualifying heat, and I had to run the B feature to get in the show. And Rich was running fast that night, and we knew he had to finish third or worse that night for us to win. And the whole race I could watch the scoreboard, and I was leading and had about a half lap lead, so I was very easy to win the race. But I was already in my mind was talking to myself about what kind of speech I was going to have to have won the race and not won the championship. And then on the very last lap, Rich had a tire going down, and him and Mel Kenyon got together, and 2 cars passed Rich Vogler on the last lap. So he went from second to fourth, and I ended up winning the championship. So it started out, as a very tough, humbling night, and then ended up winning the championship. So it was a struggle at first, and then became a real happy time. So,
sounds like. Is there anything that you want those folks to know out there? Anything special about McClellan, the Speedrome, that you think's missing in the record here? We've been going through, looking at pictures and everything else. What's missing on McClellan's story?
Well, looking at all the pictures and some of the old times, the hairstyles certainly have changed. We noticed that, and I just hope people think, as they look back, that I was a good guy. I raced hard, and that I was a good person for the fans, and that we enjoyed racing here, and hope it continues.
Amen.
All right. Good.
Thank you. Hang on.